From stories across the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Nitya Chandra.
A very good evening indeed, and I'm Kasman Segera. First, we take a look at the top stories for today. Victims of the Easter Sunday bombings have expressed their confidence on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's capability to bring all culprits before the law. President emphasizes that COVID-19 prevention program should be carried out successfully while considering on the shortcomings. An island-wide curfew imposed. Curfew will be lifted at 5 a.m. on the 4th of May. A loan scheme under concessionary interest rate up to a maximum of 3 million rupees for the farmer community. This year's Vesak commemoration will take place by prioritizing Pratipatti Puja. World Health Organization says 1 million patients have recovered from COVID-19 virus across the world.
Now in your top story this evening, the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks have expressed their confidence on President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's capability to bring all culprits behind the attack before the law. Now they made these remarks during a media briefing held at the Katuapitiya Church today. "269 people, including 45 children, were killed from the brutal carnage on Easter Sunday, April 21st, 2019, in a series of suicide bombings carried out in 7 locations within 25 minutes. Addressing the media briefing, some of the victims pointed out that the responsible actions of the former authorities mainly contributed to the brutal incidents. Convening a media briefing, the collective of Catholic priests in Negombo region said that every responsible entity should be penalized. Administrator of St. Anthony's Shrine, Kochikade, Reverend Father Jude Raj Fernando, said that the suffering of the victims can only be understood if the same has happened to them. He said that the parents of the victims continue to remain in suffering. The reality is that the responsible entities still remain free as the necessary authority has been influenced by wealth. Reverend Father Cyril Gamini said that those who attempt to conceal the incidents are equal to those who are directly and indirectly involved in the bombings.
කවුරු ඉදිරිපත් වෙනවා නම් ඒ හා සමානම වගකීමක් තියෙනවා ඒ තාත්තන්ට. අපි ඉවසීමෙන් තවමත් බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා.
Parish priest of Katuapitiya St. Sebastian Church, Reverend Father Manjula Niroshan, said that they patiently await the revelation of the entities involved in the attacks. He requested the relevant authorities to carry out their duties in a trustworthy manner. A victim of the attack, S.M. Surimana, said that his 2 children died from the attack that took place in Kochikade St. Anthony's Church. He said that this church belongs to the devotees of all religions. He said that he was one of the many who filed a court case over the blast. He said he filed the court case expecting to penalize those who are in higher positions and were involved in the incidents. He said that those who were involved in the incident were not taken into custody as they represented the previous government. He said that the previous government is responsible for the deaths of their children. He said that the present president has been elected due to the good fortune of the nation. He said he is confident that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will be able to bring all culprits behind the attack before the law.
Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's attention has been directed on the use of digital technology for agri and other product exchange. These remarks were made at a review discussion was held at the President's office today, together with the secretaries to the Ministries of Agriculture and several other institutions, including Hector Kobbakadu Agrarian Research Centre. A lengthy discussion was held on the possibility in using digital technology in marketing agri-related products among the wholesale suppliers, wholesale buyers, goods collectors, large-scale buyers, including hotels and daily consumers, was discussed at length. One of the expectations of this project is to extend the opportunity for the farmers with the ability to compete with a higher price for agri-harvests. The President emphasized on the ability to connect with the digital exchange platform for anyone using the convenient and simple technology. He also emphasized that the final outcome of this initiative is to build a self-sufficient nation. Connecting the divisional secretariat divisions, the digital technology will provide the opportunity for the farmers and the buyers to be connected conveniently. Using the technology, the farmers will be able to increase the profits from their revenues by eliminating the intermediaries. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa also said that this method can be used to survey consumer requirements as well. The President also said that Central Transport Board, the Railway and Postal Department should also be included for digital technology transport operational processors. Minister Shamal Rajapaksha, Secretary to the President Dr. P.B. Jayasundara were present at this meeting.
Now, in the meantime, all members of the previous parliament have been called on for a meeting at Temple Trees next Monday to brief and discuss on the prevailing situation in the country. The meeting has been called on by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The main aim of the meeting is to brief the former parliamentarians on the proposed future measures taken by the government towards rebuilding the country. Media Secretary to the Prime Minister Vijayananda Herath said that the suggestions of the MPs will be obtained in this regard at the meeting.
Meanwhile, in a letter, former parliamentarian Mangala Samaravira has requested President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to exercise his power as the head of the state and summon the parliament at the earliest. Former parliamentarian Mangala Samaravira presented the vote of account for his state of expenditure of the country up to the 30th of April. These views were made in a letter consisted of 10 facts. In his letter, former MP Mangala Samaravira has emphasized on the approving of essential expenditure, including the payment of salaries to the public service after April 30th legally and constitutionally. He said that for any person who acts in contravention of the provisions will be convicted with the Court of Appeal. The letter has pointed out that if the person found guilty, he will lose the civic right for a maximum period of 7 years. Former MP Samaravira also said that a movable and immovable asset of the person will be taken over as a state property apart from his assets declared by a court order. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the President has not violated any provisions in the Constitution and they will not respond to the letter directed by former MP, which has been drafted in a hateful and a meaningless manner. He said that they have informed that the Cabinet of Ministers are ready to be even imprisoned for being committed to the well-being of the public. In more related news, Secretary to the President Dr. P.B. Jayasundara says that a host of baseless information had been compiled into a letter of former MP Mangala Samaravira. The President has mentioned that it was regretful for directing such a letter. This has been mentioned in the letter directed to former MP Mangala Samaravira by Secretary to the President Dr. P.B. Jayasundara on behalf of the President. The topic of the letter sent to the President by former MP Mangala Samaravira on April 28th has been cited as a request to reconvene the Parliament to resolve the present crisis constitutionally and approve state expenditure. The Secretary to the President has pointed out that paragraph 3 of section 150 of the Constitution indicates that the President has the power to proceed with financial spending through an account of vote until 3 months since the convening of the Parliament if the appropriation bill had not been passed at the time of the dissolution of Parliament. The Secretary to the President has also said that the President has shown his regret to the former Finance Minister for not prioritizing the democratic rights of the people by conducting elections as a politician with a new liberal socio-economic vision.
Now on to more local stories. The government says that the country is in a positive stage compared to other countries in the world with regards to the spread of the COVID-19 disease. Now meanwhile, only 4 COVID-19 patients have been recorded from the country as of today. A total of 507 active COVID-19 patients are currently receiving treatment in hospitals thus far. 4 patients have left the hospitals after completely recovering from the disease. Accordingly, a tally of 139 COVID-19 patients have been fully recovered from the disease. 4 COVID-19 patients detected within the day have been identified as residents of Suduvalla area. Co-cabinet spokesman Minister Ramesh Pathirana said that when comparing 1 million people with infected patients and the death toll, Sri Lanka stands at the position of 163 amongst 195 countries. He said that when comparing the sample with the death toll, Sri Lanka stands at 153. He said that they believe that with the support and the commitment of the entire nation while maintaining social distancing, the nation's battle against COVID-19 will be successful through a healthy lifestyle.
සෑම දිනකගේම සහයෝගයෙන් සමාජ දුරස්ථභාවය ආරක්ෂා කර ගනිමින් සෞඛ්‍ය සම්පන්න දිවි පෙවතකට හුරු වීමෙන් මෙම වෛරසය සමග අපිට අපේ සටන ජය ගන්නට පුළුවන් වෙයි.
A total of 30 COVID-19 patients were recorded from the country yesterday. 20 of the detected patients are Navy officers stationed at Valisara Navy Base, while 2 Navy officers later identified as COVID-19 patients were on leave. The other 7 patients have been identified as close associates of the naval officers. Another infected patient was identified as a person who was taken from Gunasinghapura for quarantine purposes.
At least 31 US states will partially reopen by the end of the week, while other countries are also gradually loosening restrictions, including France, Switzerland, Greece, India, China and Portugal. Meanwhile, South Korea, which saw the first major outbreak outside China, recorded no newly locally transmitted cases for the first time in 72 days. Worldwide, the number of confirmed infections stood at 3.2 million, with close to 230,000 deaths and more than 1 million recoveries. The number of COVID-19 deaths in United States reached 61,669 as of today, with a total of 1,064,572 cases have been reported in the country. A tally of 147,411 recoveries has also been recorded in the country thus far. Meanwhile, the United States economy has taken its hardest hit since the height of the Great Recession, with its gross domestic product contracting 4.8% in the first quarter of the year. Maine is the first northeastern state to partially reopen its economy amid the coronavirus pandemic. The state will allow some business to reopen from Friday. Alabama, Ohio, Missouri, Montana and Iowa will slowly start reopening their economies this week. Minnesota, Mississippi, Tennessee, Colorado, Alaska, Georgia, Oklahoma, South Carolina and Texas have already partially reopened. The Spanish economy contracted by 5.2% in the first quarter of the year, mainly due to a sharp decline in March when the coronavirus infections prompted a nationwide state of emergency and a lockdown, the largest GDP drop in Spain that has seen in the recent history since the 2008 financial crisis. 24,275 people have died from COVID-19 in Spain so far, with 453 deaths registered in the 24-hour period yesterday, while 236,899 confirmed cases of COVID-19 have reported in the country. In Spain, a record of 6,399 patients confirmed to have recovered in the 24-hour period, taking the total number of recoveries to 108,947. The French economy has shrunk by 5.8% in the first quarter compared to the previous quarter, the biggest drop since the country began recording its quarterly GDP in 1949, caused mainly by the coronavirus lockdown measures in place since the mid-March. French Prime Minister outlined plans yesterday to gradually ease the country's coronavirus restrictions. France will be divided into red or green zones depending on the case numbers, testing efficiency and healthcare capacity. The country has recorded a total of 166,420 COVID-19 infections, while 48,228 have recovered from the disease. A total of 26,097 patients have died in Britain after testing positive for coronavirus in the country. The UK has recorded a tally of 165,221 confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country. A UK cabinet minister has suggested that Britain may not reach its target of conducting 100,000 tests a day by the end of April, as the latest figures show only 52,429 tests that were carried out on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Russia has reported 7,099 new cases of novel coronavirus, a record daily rise, bringing its nationwide tally to 106,498. The official nationwide death toll rose to 1,073 after 101 people with the virus died in the last 24 hours. Pakistan confirmed 874 new coronavirus infections in the past 24 hours, the country's biggest one-day jump in case so far, raising the national total to 15,759 cases and 346 deaths. Pakistan is currently under a nationwide lockdown, which was extended last weekend to stay in place to May 9th. The Swiss government will further loosen coronavirus-related restrictions as of the 11th of May, allowing shops, cultural and sports and educational institutions and restaurants to reopen. A third phase of loosening restrictions will happen on the 8th of June under the condition that the coronavirus spread is under control. Switzerland has recorded a total of 29,407 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country with a tally of 1,716 deaths thus far. Travellers will be welcome to visit Greece this summer, yet social distancing rules will remain in place to keep people safe from coronavirus in accordance to plans introduced to ease the restrictions in the country. A total of 2,576 COVID-19 has been recorded in the country with 139 deaths thus far. Portugal set to end its current state of emergency on Saturday and lift the imposed restrictions gradually. Portugal has reported 24,500 confirmed cases of the new coronavirus and 973 deaths. The country declared a state of emergency on the 18th March when the death toll was only 2, with around 642 confirmed cases. It has conducted 370,000 coronavirus tests since March 1st, one of the highest testing rates in the world. India, meanwhile, is under a nationwide lockdown since the 25th of March, set to ease lockdown restrictions from this Sunday. Accordingly, state borders will be reopened and asymptomatic migrant workers, students, pilgrims and tourists will be able to return to their home states. India has recorded at least 33,050 confirmed coronavirus cases, including 1,074 deaths. Some of China's most iconic sightseeing attractions are reopening this week after being shut for nearly 3 months during the pandemic. China have reported 4 new cases of COVID-19 as of today, with the total confirmed cases increased to 82,862 in the country. The Chinese government is using a color-based digital health code system to detect and indicate the health status of citizens accordingly. Meanwhile, South Korea reordered no new locally transmitted cases of coronavirus yesterday for the first time since February 18th. Accordingly, the national total stands at 10,765 cases and 247 deaths in the country, and so far 9,059 patients has been recovered.
Now, in the meantime, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has said on Wednesday that she spoke to Britain's Queen Elizabeth II after the country emerged out of a strict lockdown that helped contain the spread of the coronavirus.
New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Wednesday that she received a message from Queen Elizabeth, who was eager to touch base and see how the country was faring as it emerges from its lockdown.
And so while it's not general practice to comment on any detailed degree on the conversation, what I came away with was a very genuine and strong sense that Her Majesty is really interested in how we're doing, and was heartened to hear that we're doing okay.
New Zealand was under a strict lockdown that saw offices, schools, malls, restaurants, playgrounds and all other public areas shut for more than a month. The lockdown was lifted on Tuesday. Ardern has ridden a wave of popular support in her country for its early and aggressive policy of almost total isolation.
Now, in the meantime, moving back to Sri Lanka, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa emphasises that the COVID-19 prevention program should be carried out successfully while considering the shortcomings. The President made these remarks during a meeting held with Health and Security Divisions committed for the coronavirus prevention campaigns. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa also took part in the meeting. During the meeting, physicians pointed out that the measures taken for the prevention of the spread of the virus are currently ahead of the rest of the countries in the world. They said that these remarks have been made by Professor Malik Peris, a veteran expert of epidemiology in the world currently residing in Hong Kong. Praising the efforts and commitments made by health, security and other divisions to prevent the spread of the disease, the President said that this condition should be protected and maintained in the future as well. The President pointed out the need to prepare plans for the areas where people live in clusters and special segments of people in the virus prevention process. 997 naval officers have been directed to PCR tests, yet only 159 have been identified as infected. 80% of the patients are asymptomatic patients. Physicians have pointed out that their strong immunity has been the cause for the conditions. The President said that further studies should be carried out in the use of indigenous medicine to improve the immunity of the people. The Prime Minister as well as the President pointed out that the importance of this until a vaccine is produced to prevent the spread of the virus. The President emphasized to direct attention whether the recommendations made by the government have been implemented when maintaining the operations of the institutions.
In more relevant news, contributions made to the COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund continue to increase. Lanka Ashok Leyland Limited has made a donation worth of 5 million rupees to COVID-19 Healthcare and Social Security Fund. The relevant cheque was handed over by the representatives of the company to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. All donations will be credited to special account opened under the number 857373 at the corporate branch of the Bank of Ceylon. Local and foreign donors have made their contributions to the fund. Donations made to the fund have been exempted from taxes and foreign exchange regulations. Deposits can be made through cheques or telegraphic transfers. Further details can be obtained from the Director General Administration of Presidential Secretariat KB Yegodavela through the telephone numbers 0112 354 479 or 0112 354 354. A special program has been initiated through the Central Cultural Fund under the instructions of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to provide stimulus for the artists affected by the present situation in the country. Provisions worth of 10 million rupees have been allocated through the fund to provide stimulus to the aim, encourage and retain artists in their respective fields. The financial provisions was presented to the Manusatve Satkara program, which was initiated by the Independent Television Network in assistance with this program.
Now only a few more days remain to commemorate the Vesak full moon Poi day by Buddhists across the world. The entire nation has entered into a new era where all could experience the value of Lord Buddha's preaching depicting Arogya Paramalabha this year. The celebrations of the Vesak Festival should be conducted by prioritizing healthcare measures and protocols. The Vesak Festival commemorates the birth, the enlightenment and the parinirvana of Lord Gautama Buddha. Sri Lankan Buddhists commemorate the Vesak Festival by prioritizing Amisa and Pratipatti Puja. However, Buddhists in the country were not able to engage in celebrations of the Vesak Festival last year due to the Easter Sunday attacks. This year, the Vesak Festival will be celebrated again without any public gatherings due to the present situation in the country. The Buddhist devotees show great enthusiasm towards almsgiving, sil and meditation programs and Vesak decorations. Devotees have been inspired to create Vesak decorations while seeking for alternatives for store-bought Vesak lanterns and lights. However, the prevailing situation in the country has affected the small and medium-scale businesses. Pandals often illuminate the Vesak season with their colourful elaborations of the tales of Buddhist traditions. Also, building pandals is an industry as well, which has been deeply affected from the prevailing situation in the country. Now we move on to some news that has saddened the entire world. India has lost yet another Bollywood icon. Veteran actor Rishi Kapoor passed away today. The veteran actor had been battling cancer since 2 years and took his last breath at 67 in a Mumbai hospital. Veteran Indian actor Rishi Kapoor played leading roles as the romantic lead in 92 films between 1973 and the 2000s. Some of his notable films during this period were Amar Akbar Anthony, Khas and Chandni. Since the 2000s, he played character roles to critical acclaim in Love Aajkal, Agnipath and Milk. He received the National Film Award for Best Child Artist for his debut role in his father Raj Kapoor's 1970 film Mera Naam Joker. He had his first lead role as an adult in the teen romance Bobby in 1973, which won him the Filmfare Award for Best Actor for his performance in Do Doni Char in 2010. He was honoured with Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award in 2008. His final film appearance was in the film The Body last year. Kapoor often collaborated with his wife, the actress Neetu Singh, with whom he had 2 children, including Bollywood sensation Ranbir Kapoor. Many Indian actors, politicians, sports personalities, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, posted tributes on social media and shared fond memories with Rishi Kapoor.
Moving back to local stories, Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says that the Cabinet of Ministers have taken relevant decisions to initiate the measures taken to maintain the economic sectors in the country under several phases as a nation which has faced many challenges. He made these remarks in a media briefing held to announce the Cabinet decisions held at the Government Information Department today. Co-Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that the economy of the country was able to survive and thrive during the war-inflicted period and even during the dengue epidemic period. He said that measures were taken to uplift the livelihoods of the people in the aftermath of the Easter Sunday attack. He said that the relevant decisions to initiate the measures have been taken by the Cabinet of Ministers to maintain and restore the economic sectors in the country under several phases during the coronavirus pandemic.
මේ කොරෝනා මර්ධනය කර තිබෙන අවධිය තුල අපි නැවතත් රටේ ආර්ථික අංශ පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා වෙන වැඩපිළිවෙලට අධීරයෙන් අධීරයේ ගමන් කරන්න කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය කටයුතු කළා.
Minister Chamal Rajapaksa presented 3 cabinet papers related to the agri-sector in the country. 523,000 hectares of land expected to be prepared for cultivations for the yellow season. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the allocation of 10 billion rupees required to purchase 150,000 metric tons of fertilizer. The purchased fertilizer will be distributed among the farmer community on May 20th. The Cabinet of Ministers also granted approval to initiate a new loan scheme under the title Asvanna for the farmer communities, which is set to commence from next week. The farmer community will be provided with a facility to obtain a loan scheme to a maximum of 3 million rupees under a concessionary interest rate through the loan scheme and initiated through the People's Bank. Also, approval was granted to build 200 cluster villages based on the exportation and 200 retail markets to sell the products. In addition, ministerial approval was granted to cultivate toxic-free crops in 10,000 acres of land and establish 50 green gardens. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that a cabinet paper has been presented to the cabinet along with Minister Dallas Salha Peruma to dedicate a television channel and radio channel for education. He said that Prime Minister proposed to obtain additional channels for state media institutions following the discussions with the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. He added that ministers agreed on this as a policy.
ඒක ජාතිය දරුවන්ට ලැබෙන විශාල අනුග්‍රහයක් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා.
A special loan scheme has been introduced for professionals in the artistic field who have been deprived of a livelihood due to the present condition of the country.
අවධානයට යොමු කළා. අපේ රටේ ඉතා විශාල කලාකරුවෝ
Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena said that he directed the attention of the Cabinet of Ministers and the President over the prevailing issues faced by the artists in the country. He said that the President informed the Secretary to the President to prepare a loan scheme with the concessionary interest rate up to a maximum of 500,000 on the base of reimbursement. Minister Ramesh Patirana said that
තුමාගේ ලේකම් ආචාර්ය පී.බී. ජයසුන්දර මැතිතුමාට ඒ වගකීම පැවරුවා.
අතිකරු ජනාධිපති ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා
Minister Ramesh Patirana said that the cabinet approval was granted to a proposal made by the Minister Johnson Fernando to further continue 100,000 kilometers road development project in the country in accordance with the President's policy statement, Vistas to Prosperity and Splendor.
කැබිනට් පත්‍රිකාවට අනුමැතිය ලැබුණා. මේ වැඩසටහන වෙනුවෙන් මහා මාර්ග සහ වරාය සංවර්ධන අමාත්‍යාංශයට රුපියල් බිලියන 5ක ප්‍රතිපාදන ප්‍රමාණයක් ලබා දීම සඳහා අනුමැතිය ලැබී තිබෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ පාලම් සංවර්ධනය සඳහා ආර්ථික සංවර්ධනය සඳහා වන කුවේට් අරමුදල මගින් පාලම් 25ක් සංවර්ධනය කිරීම සඳහා ලබා දෙන ආධාර මුදල් යටතේ පාලම් 8ක් සංවර්ධනය කිරීම සඳහා වන ප්‍රතිපාදන වෙන් කිරීම වෙනුවෙන් කැබිනට් අනුමැතිය ලැබී තිබුණා.
The cabinet approval was granted to develop the Central Colombo water supply project and the wastewater management projects. The cabinet of ministers also granted approval to initiate the e-passport program. And in sports news, national netball coach Tilaka Chinadasa, who was responsible in taking the game of netball in Sri Lanka to international level, has resigned from her coaching post. She has mentioned that her decision to resign from the post as she had to face numerous difficulties throughout her career. Former national netball coach Tilaka Chinadasa said that in many attempts have been made to replace her in the national coach position with several other coaches, even though her contract lasted till the end of this year. She said that she managed to continue her role due to the mediation of the Minister of Sports. However, she said that National Netball Council has shown displeasure of her being in the position. She said that the Ministry of Sports had bigger responsibility to take in more serious measures to safeguard coaches in her caliber in the future. Well, that's it for your Primetime News Bulletin on Channel I. Join us tomorrow for the very latest. Till then, have a good night.
Good night.